So welcome everybody to the eXp Explained, the opportunity to explain that Barb Legg, my business partner in California, and I do every first Wednesday of the month. Very excited to do that. And tonight, I am so excited to be able to share one of our gems in eXp world, Sheila Fergeron, who has been around for quite a while. Sheila has an amazing story. I first met Sheila when I was in Scottsdale this year, which was my very first visit with folks from eXp. I'm a pandemic baby, and we can introduce ourselves a little bit later when we get into the presentation, but I've only been with the company since February of 2020. So when I was able to go to Scottsdale this spring and first heard Sheila Fergeron and heard of Sheila Fergeron, it was a pivotal moment in my life. And Sheila, I'm not even sure you know this, but there was a gentleman there who stood up and he spoke about the fact that his wife had been diagnosed with cancer twice. And he wasn't quite sure how he was going to ever make ends meet. And he really wanted to be a realtor. He wanted to continue. And because of what this model was able to offer to him, it was a life-changing event. And he turned to you, Sheila, and he said, Sheila Fergeron, you've never met me, but because of the work that you have done, you've changed my life forever. And when I heard that, that's when it finally hit me personally, because I hear stories everywhere. eXp is so great. But when I heard how Sheila's work and setting the table and what she's going to share with us tonight actually changed the life of someone she had never even met, that's when it really clicked for me that this business model has the ability to change lives. And it was just a stunning moment for me. So with all of that, Barb, you want to just say hi and then we'll introduce Sheila tonight.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's Barbara Legg from San Diego. Welcome to our first Wednesday of the month. So I have a small team here in San Diego. I've been in real estate since 2004. I've seen all kinds of ups and downs, and I'm now a broker associate with eXp and just love it. I joined eXp in 2018 because I was with a small boutique brokerage, and my broker was the one who said, "Hey, we're moving. We're heading over to eXp." But once I saw the business model and he kind of opened my eyes, I was like, oh, why didn't we do this sooner? I'm just so excited to hear Sheila's story. Thank you so much for joining us, Sheila. We're so excited that you're here.
The floor is yours, Sheila.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm super excited to be here. I want to give you guys kind of my journey of coming to eXp. And I guess I want to start out to say that a lot of people say eXp changed my life. And I can't say enough how true that is. And even I want to say, have you ever heard anybody from any other brokerage? I had never, ever heard that before, ever. And I can say it's true for me, and I can say it's true for all the people that I'm close to and in relationship with. And to give you an example, and I don't know where all of you are in your businesses. I don't know you guys personally. Some of you may be new agents. Some of you may be just getting started. Some of you be like me, been in the business 20 years or so. But the truth is, I've met people in every arena in the industry, people who were number one, number two in the world, and were millions of dollars in debt. Even though they made a lot of money, they were super, super in debt because of the tax implications of making a lot of money in real estate. I've met people who have been new and just really crushing it. So wherever you're at in your business, I want to say to you that eXp has something for you. And eXp does have the ability to transform your life based on the opportunity, because it's not just another brokerage. And that's what I want people to understand about eXp is it's not the same old model that every other company in America operates under besides eXp. Because Glenn, when he created the company, he really came at it from the perspective of flipping the whole industry upside down and really looking at it from the perspective of at every other company we've all been at, you have the franchise owner or the brand, right? And then they sell to the regions, they sell to the franchise owners, they hire managers, they hire staff, and then they recruit agents. So the agent's always at the bottom. So Glenn, when he created this model, he said, I don't like that the agents are at the bottom, because the truth is the agents are the most important part of the whole process. You, as an agent or as a team leader or as a broker running a team, you are the most important person in the whole process. So Glenn really understood that. And I loved that heart. When I saw the model, I loved the heart that Glenn had for us. I was one of the first people in Dallas. Rob Flick met me at a real estate school. I was updating my broker's license. At the time, I was running 12 offices in 4 states. I had 40 agents that worked for me. The gentleman who owned the company was older in his 70s, kind of retired. So I did everything. I was the managing broker, the VP, the trainer, the floor scrubber, whatever you want to call it. I did it all. I was tired. I was working probably on average 17 hours a day. And I had the exclusive HUD contract from Dallas to Arkansas. I had 15 REO contracts, and we were selling 6,000 homes. So it was total chaos. And when I saw the model, the thing for me, I thought freedom. I thought if I could build this company up to 12 offices with 40 agents, I surely could build this, because I didn't have all the benefits there that I had here. And in my head flashed 50 states. That's what flashed across my head when I saw him explain it, because I thought, wow, if I could expand into all 50 states. And remember, we had just come out of the crash. I met Rob in 2016, and we were all just coming out of the last crash, you know, kind of coming back from 2011. And so I was thinking, well, you know, if we crash again and I'm in all 50 states, just like what happened the last time, if Texas is doing bad, maybe California won't be, or maybe New York won't be. And maybe if I'm leveraged enough, then I won't have to worry about the market shifting so much in my little market, in my little hometown. So that's kind of what went through my head when I saw the model. I actually was jotting this down today about eXp changing my life. I want to give you some examples, because I've been here 5 years. And in 5 years, just from the revenue share I've received from eXp, I bought and paid for my house in Texas, which is worth $2 million. I bought a home in Puerto Rico for $1 million and sold it for a profit. I bought 6 investment properties, cash. I bought 4 brand new cars. I paid for my son's college to A&M and UTSA. I built a 7-figure stock portfolio. I built a 7-figure bank account. I built a 7-figure crypto account portfolio. I donated 7 figures to 10 charities around the world. I've traveled to 3 continents and 10 countries with my sons, and I'm debt free. So you tell me, with that description, would you say that that changed my life? Yeah, that's what eXp can do for you. Because the beauty here is that what I have is available to everybody. Because the beauty of our model is that the playing field is even for all of us. And really, it's just a matter of us committing to the process and doing the work and inviting our friends and helping our friends invite their friends, and so on to build your organizations here so that you can grow and build a rev share organization. Now, some of you on here, again, I don't know you. I don't know who's with eXp or who's not from your pictures. So you may just be an agent that's looking for sales. So when I first came to eXp, I was running that brokerage and I was running a team. So I moved my business selling 15 million myself with my little team, along with running the brokerage. When I moved here, I doubled my business my first year and became one of the top agents in Dallas. Just because the systems eXp offers, the support eXp offers, all of the tools that they give us, I was able to become a more productive agent. And I brought on a guy from Sotheby's, actually, Lisa, up in Boston. He was one of the top Sotheby agents, luxury agents in Boston. His name is Jem Mutlu. And he came at the beginning of the year, and just in the 9 months he's been here, he tripled his business. And that's what I hear again and again from people from a production standpoint moving to eXp, is how, because of the way you use your time here and because of the systems and support you have here, you don't struggle the way you struggle normally at traditional brokerage, because you have everything at your fingertips, either through your computer or on your phone. So it just makes it easier. And again, I'm happy to answer questions for people, especially people who aren't familiar with the eXp model yet, just because I don't want you to think that eXp is a recruiting company. it was announced this month that we are the #1 independent brokerage in the world, not just America, in the world. And when I say that, it was announced this week that with our 60,000 agents, we did $1 billion more in sales than Keller Williams worldwide. So they have 180,000 agents, we have 60. We did $1 billion more transactions and sales than Keller Williams. So I think that's super important to understand that we aren't a recruiting company. We are a real estate company, a very powerful, large real estate company that just happens to be built on a technology platform that enables us to be compensated for helping build the company. That's really what we are. So I think that's crucial to understand. It was really cool at this conference we went to last week. Tony Robbins was speaking about our company, and he put this slide up and it blew my mind. He compared eXp to Realty. So Realty has a family of companies, and he has 10 companies in the Realty family he shows on his slide. And he says Realty is valued at $1.8 billion. eXp is valued at $3.9 billion. So we're twice the size of Realty with one company versus 10 companies. So for those of you who are agents or are functioning as realtors, I want you to understand what you're getting involved with eXp. You're getting involved with the #1 company, with the #1 sales volume, with the #1 platform to support you in building your business. You are the culmination of the top 5 people you spend your time with. It's like, who do you want to spend your time with? You want to spend your time with the biggest and the best and the people who are leading the industry and the people who are ahead of everybody else and the people who are doing the most sales? Because the truth is, we rub off on each other. And when you are a part of a group and the collaboration and the support and the help and the systems that we have available to you, unless you literally are not trying, or unless you're like not doing the work, there's no way it won't rub off on you, that you won't be able to be more successful here just because of the group of people you're involved with. And again, I know Tom, I know Lisa, I know Barbara, just from those 3 people alone being your leaders, if you want to call it that, in a sense of your group and supporting you as your leaders in the system, you can't get better people. They're amazing, 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 amazing people, not only in the businesses that they've built, but in their hearts for people. And that's important because we've all been at brokerages where we've been a number. I mean, has anybody ever felt like a number that you were like, just like they're checking the box off, like you were a seat warmer, right? A seat warmer who could write a check to them. and so the difference here is that you are partners with Lisa, partners with Tom, partners with Barbara. You are partners with them, and they're investing in you as a partner to support you, to help you be successful. And then together, you all win together. So that's, to me, the beauty of the model and what is offered to you. And a lot of people want to hear my story about Brent Gove, so I'm going to go ahead and tell that too. So after Rob met me, basically the first thing that I started doing is thinking, who do I know? And I'm not the recruiter type. I'm actually very introverted. I'm very quiet. I'm a bookworm. So I'm more the person that sits in the back behind the computer than I am the person on stage. But I really wanted to make this work. So I started thinking about, who do I know? And I started going through all of the business cards that I could find from every single agent I've ever met in the 20 years I've been in business. And one of those cards was Brent Gove. And I had met Brent like 3 years earlier at a real estate conference. He was a speaker and he came off stage. And if you know Brent or have seen Brent, he is hilarious. And I was rolling in my seat. He was cracking me up. And so I went up to him after the conference and just said what a great job he did. I'd love to stay in touch, all the normal stuff you say to people. Got his card. He had no clue who I was. He didn't remember me from Adam, right? He meets a gazillion people. So I pulled his card out, and in my mind, the way I look at business, the way I look at most of my life is I have a favorite 4-letter word, and that 4-letter word is next. So the way I look at it is I'm going to make the call, and if they're not interested, next, next, next. And in my head, to keep me from getting weird or to keep me from getting insecure, I keep saying to myself, next, 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 until I get one. So that's what I did, because I used to call expires and FSBOs and stuff like that. And that's how I got myself over the fear of making calls, so that by the time I started making calls with eXp for agent attraction, I used the same things, the same kind of system that I use calling expires, just next, 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 next. Called everybody I knew, and Brent happened to be one. So I can't encourage you enough that you don't know who's going to be interested. I mean, look, Grant Cardone joined our company, right? Like, who would have ever thought Grant Cardone would join our company? But you just don't know where people are at in their lives. You don't know what people are looking for. So the worst thing that could happen is they say no, and then you say next, right? And the best thing that could happen is that one phone call literally accomplished everything I just read off to you. That one phone call, that one person. I'm sitting in Puerto Rico, in my house in Puerto Rico, debt-free, with many, many, many zeros behind everything that I own because of that one phone call. And I want you to understand that I'm no different than you. I'm not special, no special script. I seriously just made the phone call and said, would you be willing to take a look? That's really it. That's all you have to say to people is, have you heard of eXp? Would you be open-minded to take a look at it? And then really the thing you have to understand is that eXp, the platform, the model, the company is so incredible. You're not having to sell it. You're not selling anything. You are honestly offering an opportunity and extending a gift to people, because it is a gift being here. It is a life-changing opportunity being here. It's not like you're selling someone something. So anything else that anybody wanted explained to them? Or
Yeah, that was so awesome. I mean, so far the nuggets that you've given us in terms of like the idea of next and sort of, wherever you are, this program sells itself. We don't need to go into this long, crazy explanation about what we're doing. I just think that's an amazing gift to all of us to remember that it's going to resonate. Tom always talks about, looking for the people who are looking for us. And that's such an important thing to kind of remember, To me, you're someone incredibly special. But, the fact that this is a level playing field, that everyone has the same opportunity, and that transparency as part of our core values is just enormously important for sure. Or did you have any slides you wanted to share with us, Sheila? Or you've done a great job of...
Not if you're going to do the presentation, but I'd be happy to like join in on the presentation and tell you things that I would say to people. But I do want to say this, because a lot of times when people meet me or people hear me on calls and stuff, people will come up to me and say, I'm not like you, or I'm not as big as you, or you have so many people, I could never do that. I hear a lot of that. So let me tell you something. Actually, a better opportunity now than I had when I started. Because when I started, eXp was not what it is today. When I started, there were only 1,000 agents in the company. When I started, they weren't even writing the checks the right way from accounting. We had lost a lot of people because there were a lot of screwed up stuff in our systems, because we were a little tiny company growing way too fast for the company to keep up with. And so I would hear a lot of EX who? And so now is the perfect time to be at eXp, because we are only 60,000 agents with 25 million agents worldwide, 2 million agents just in America, with everything fixed, running like a clock, crazy, incredible systems, tech out the wazoo, support with 700 full-time staff members that blows your mind, 12 hours a day available to you. So it's a very, very different company than I started with. So huge, 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 huge benefit to you if you're just coming on board. That's going to make life a whole, believe me, there were no videos. When I started, Gene Frederick was still writing on a napkin. And so I looked at Gene and Rob one day and I said, what are you guys doing? We cannot do this. So I created a whole webinar series and a video series and all this stuff because we had none. We had no presentation. So you guys are coming in with everything at your fingertip to be successful with. And some people will say, but yeah, there's only 2 million agents in America. What happens when, half of them join or whatever? So if you've ever been in the business long enough to know the NAR statistic is that agents only stay in the business 1 to 2 years and they get out and new people come in. It's not like there'll never be someone else getting a license. There's always going to be turnover in our industry. There's always going to be new people getting their license. The average age of realtors in America are 65-year-old women. So most of the realtors are going to be retiring. Well, guess what? All of you young guys, you're it. You're the future of this industry and all the new people coming in under you. So I want you to understand the huge, 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 huge opportunity and don't play those negative tapes in your head or tell yourself those lies that you don't have the same chance I do because you actually have a better chance than I did. The people I see coming in now that came in like 3 years after me are growing faster than we ever grew. And I mean, they're like going to be passing us, me and Brent and Gene, just because they're growing so much faster because a lot of you guys that are younger are really good at tech and are really good at like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all those other things. And so people are recruiting just off of social media. I'm still making phone calls, guys. So for those of you who know how to do all the technological stuff, you're going to be able to grow faster than all of us old dudes. So I just want to encourage you with that it's not too late. It's not going to be too late. Even when we're at 1 million agents worldwide, we're still only going to be 1 or 2% of the whole world. So there's just so much incredible opportunity here. I want each of you to just accept the opportunity, accept what's being handed to you, and make a decision to do something about it to change your life.
Wow. Sheila, thank you so much. You are firing me up once again. You have that magic about you to keep doing that. Sheila, I so appreciate everything that you do for our organization. I so appreciate your passion for this business and the ability to change lives, right? Lisa and Barbara, thank you so much for always being here on the first Wednesday of every month to show us. Guys, I want to make sure I stress the point when Sheila shared with all of us here that she's looking for, when she makes those calls, it's next. Sheila, in a private text, I have a guest on this call today. In a private text, I said to my guest that when I first heard Sheila speak about 40 or so months ago, you were not the same person you are today, are you?
Nope.
Not at all, right? Not at all. She was a very nice, warm, loving human being. But the way that she spoke tonight is nowhere close to the way she spoke 40 months ago when I first heard Sheila speak. To see you blossom, to see you grow into the amazing leader that you are, just like makes me feel so awesome. And what that means is for the rest of the people who are coming onto this platform, Sheila, you can do it too.
Absolutely.
Right? Sheila, what she did was she basically says, hey, I have to make a living selling houses. I'm going to cold call for sale by owners, expires, cancels. What is the difference between cold calling those folks and just sharing this program with folks like a Brent Dove? So that's the I want to sort of underline for everybody. I can't wait for Lisa and Barbara to get into the presentation. And I love to hear, Sheila, how you present the slides as well. That's what I'm waiting for. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah. So actually, we will do that. We want to respect the fact that we are going to be showing the opportunity tonight. We're going to kind of go through a little bit of abbreviated because we've got a little bit less time. Certainly, if you are a guest tonight, make sure you get back to the person that invited you to get more details, because some of the pieces we're just going to gloss over in a sense, and we can get right into it. And I'm going to kind of throw to you, Sheila and Barb, as we go through. the presentation to kind of put a little bit more color on everything that we're doing, if that works.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So we'll kind of go, Sheila already said this in some parts of this. And this is a newer presentation that's offered by corporate. And of course, as usual, Barbara and I always throw in a little bit more stuff. Here we go. So this is kind of what we're going to talk about tonight, who we are as a company, and then the business model, looking at it from the lens of these three legs of the stool: compensation, the cloud-based nature of what we do, and our community. So the founder, I'm going to throw this to both Barbara and Sheila, because I only just barely met Glenn for the first time last week in Dallas, but you guys both know him for years. So let me just ask both of you to talk a little bit about Glenn, and then we'll kind of move on, because I think this is a really important piece. And you did mention a bit, Sheila, but let me throw this back to you two.
Sure. So I think that the thing that people need to know about Glenn is Glenn started actually as a stockbroker. A lot of people don't know that. That was his original career. And then when the internet started coming out, he was actually blogging and doing so much work on the internet that AOL tapped him and asked him to come work for them. So Glenn was at the very beginning of the internet age. When he got into real estate, he was already a tech genius. He was already of that mindset of leveraging with tech. So Glenn was one of the first people to ever leverage tech in the real estate space and actually generate leads online. Glenn was one of three guys that were Gary Keller's closest confidants as tech geniuses that Gary got advice from. A lot of people don't realize that. Glenn wound up building, Glenn didn't show houses. Glenn generated leads online and would build teams of agents across the country. He had 9 offices across the country selling $60 million a year just because he generated the leads and built offices across the country. A lot of people don't realize that about Glenn. So just an amazing visionary, an amazing tech guy. He built eXp in 2009, 10 years, 11 years before COVID, before anybody, he's like decades before anybody else even thought of doing this kind of stuff. There's an old saying, speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And so when you're following a genius that's leading in the kind of ways that Glenn's leading, you don't see that at other real estate companies. It's like, what is your leader like? What kind of person are you following? Those are the things I think about when I think about Glenn.
Yep. And I love the fact that you mentioned that. And one of our fine competitors, all of those brokerage owners are doing really well personally. So who we are in terms of a timeline, well, really, we've sort of talked around this in the past with what Sheila has mentioned when we were founded and all the way up really to now. We are a publicly traded company, as you can see from this. In 2015, we launched the ICON program, which we'll talk about a little bit when we talk about equity here in a bit, kind of see the trajectory. And now one of the most amazing things, I think we just opened, what was opened yesterday? So we continue to open country after country after country internationally, which will also
this one. I love this one. So yeah, eXp has those the Realty core values. Every company should have core values. I don't know, the company that you're with right now if they have the core values, but this was a huge thing for me when I was looking at the company. And the one that really stands out for me is the collaboration. I mean, look at us. We're from all different areas. Lisa's in Cape Cod, I'm in San Diego, and we're like the best of friends. And we met through eXp. So I love this. And we actually help each other with our businesses. Again, here in San Diego, she's in Cape Cod, and we bounce things off of each other all the time. Everybody has, a couple of their favorites. Every single one of these are my favorite, but fun is another one. eXp makes real estate fun.
Yeah. So our business model, just really quickly, everybody kind of, understands this. I think when, as Sheila says, back when she was first starting at eXp, everybody was like, cloud, what are you talking about? Now, of course, the whole world understands that business has moved to the cloud, whether you're looking at Netflix, you're looking at how you buy things on Amazon. In fact, since Whole Foods and Amazon merged, now you can get your groceries on Amazon in one day. And then traditional brick and mortar brokerages, the future really is what we're looking at in terms of the cloud, and that is eXp. As Sheila mentioned, I love the way she said this, we have so much more time because we're not trying to get everywhere else. We have everything right on our computers and in our hands on our laptops. This is also a huge piece of the magic of eXp Realty is that we don't have regional silos. We're not a brokerage that can't cross state and country boundaries. We are one brokerage, and we're not sort of, broken into all these different pieces with a franchise. So if in fact you are actually licensed in more than one state, you only have to hang your license once at eXp Realty, and you'll be good to go, because we're not a franchise. The cloud campus, I'm going to let you take the next couple slides.
Sure. Yeah. So with our cloud campus, we don't have any desk fees. Why would you? Because we're in the cloud. So, and you can work from anywhere. I tend to travel a lot. I have family on the East Coast, so I tend to travel a lot. And my workspace is right here on my computer, actually on my phone. So we don't have any of those overhead costs. I know that when my broker was talking to me about moving to eXp, he was excited about that because, keep the lights on and things like that. The paperless transactions, we have an amazing transaction management software program that we'll go into a little bit later. And all the training and support. It's all, our office basically is the computer. And so all of our training classes are right there on the computer that we have access to. We are very, very agent centric. You'll take these three items right here. We have the compensation, community, and cloud-based.
Try to get in. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry, Barb.
Yeah, no. So compensation, community, and cloud-based. And that's our value proposition for being the agent-centric brokerage that we are. I'm just gonna kind of skip through it real quick because we have individual slides on each of these. The compensation itself.
Depending on where you're at, you have to look at the way eXp is set up is really, we are agent obsessed, agent success obsessed. So it's all about how can we set things up to help you be more successful. 80-20 commission split with a 16,000 cap. But this is the important part. If you are a producing agent, because a lot of producing agents, like I said, I came over with 15 million and I was a broker and I hate paying caps. But because they have a program called the I.C.A program that we'll talk about in a second, you're not really paying a cap because they're giving your cap back in stock. So a lot of people are like, oh, they get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up in the numbers. Look at the whole picture, because you have to look at eXp. You have 3 sources of income, kind of like a super highway is the way I like to describe it. So instead of the brokerage you're at now, you have 1 source of income, which is your commission. Here you have 3. You have your commission, you have your stock, and you have your revenue share. When you look at what we were just looking at, you pay 80-20 with the 16,000 cap. And then the fees are $149 startup fee. I call this a starter kit. So basically it includes your first month brokerage fee, brochure holders, name badges, business cards, all that stuff. And so there's no franchise fees, no royalty fees. So if you're at Keller, Caldwell, Berkshire, Remax, any of the big franchises, you're paying some kind of royalty or franchise or desk fee or something like that. I have people that are paying upwards of 6% on top of their splits. All of that goes away here. So you get to keep all of that money. The only thing that you pay monthly is the 85. The bottom 2 fees are a per transaction only. If you don't sell, you don't pay. So don't freak out about those fees because it's only if you sell. The 40 is your E&O. It drops off after $500, which is about 15 transactions. So the only other one you're paying per transaction is the 25, which is a broker review fee. I call that a compliance fee or a cover yourself fee, because as a brokerage, and especially as an agent-owned brokerage, we don't want to be sued. We want to make sure our paperwork's perfect. So we have somebody review every initial, every signature, make sure your paperwork's perfect. So you never have to worry about, is it done right? They make sure it is. And then that way that covers that transaction for the broker review fee.
Perfect. So revenue share, I know you've touched on this, and Sheila, from what I understand, your organization at this point is about 11,500 plus, which kind of, I can hardly even get that out of my mouth. It's just so unbelievable to imagine. But as you so correctly pointed out, the thing that makes us different is that part of that cap, that 20%, I believe 10% needs to go to keep the lights on eXp. That's our 700 people in the cloud, all of the platforms, all the services that we offer, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then the other 10% of that 20 that goes to eXp from the 80-20 split goes back to the agents as referral fees. And that is really the magic of what really happens here. In every other brokerage, there's recruiters, Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to keep the doors open. People have to recruit agents, but they keep the money that comes from that. At eXp, we are awarded that money back to help grow the company.
Yeah, because the truth is, if you're not growing, you're not in business. I don't care what business you are, right? I don't care if you're Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever company, any corporate America company is going to want to grow and have more employees, right? It's no different than in real estate. If you're not adding agents, your brokerage is not growing. So the difference here, because think about this, if you're in an 80-20 split at your current company, what are you getting for that, right? Nothing. Most people aren't getting anything, right? But like she said, eXp has the heart for the agents, where Glenn has an agreement with us that 50% of all of the company dollar stays with the company, 50% goes back to the agent pool. And we have tiers that she's showing you now. And so for an example, so let's say Lisa invites me and I'm Lisa's friend, right? And I'm an active working agent. I'm a capping agent. So that means every time I do a transaction, I'm going to pay 20% into the company as a part of my split. Instead of eXp keeping the 20%, which is what every other brokerage in America does, eXp says, hey, Lisa, I'm going to give you a portion of the 20% Sheila paid in to say thank you for inviting Sheila on every transaction I do up until I cap. Once I've capped, I've paid eXp $16,000, and they will have at that point given Lisa $2,800 of the $16,000 I paid in. So think about this. We all know agents. I don't even care if you're a new agent. You know agents. You sat in school with agents. You could trip over an agent in the grocery store, right? It's like wherever you go, you're going to meet agents. So if you think about it from the perspective, like they have the example here of you inviting 5 agents. I like to use 10, it's easier. So imagine if you invited 10 friends. Now, girls, we all invite our friends everywhere, right? Yeah. Girls, especially our girlfriends, we love to hang out with our girlfriends. Guys like to play sports. Girls like to hang out. So, but we all like to hang out with our friends. So imagine if you got to bring your friends here who you already love and love being with, and you could partner with them at this company and help each other build each other's businesses. How amazing is that? And be financially rewarded for it. Because if you brought 10 friends, that's $28,000 passive income, free money, mailbox money, just for inviting your friend to the company. You don't have to train them. You don't have to manage them. You don't have to oversee them. You're not legally liable for them. You're just inviting them as a sponsor to the company. eXp has all of the systems, along with great people like Lisa and Barbara and Tom, who have been in the business a long time and have lots of systems and training to help support you and your friends that you bring. But you're being financially compensated because you're helping the brokerage grow. Instead of, at your old company, they hire team leaders. Mm-hmm. And that team leader is making a salary, and that team leader is being financially compensated for building the brokerage. Well, wouldn't you rather have the money? Wouldn't you rather, instead of them giving you a Starbucks card because you gave that person to the team leader, wouldn't you rather have that money that was being given to the team leader at another company? That's really what the easiest way to describe rev share.
And again, this is based on a 7-level model that we actually borrowed from our great colleagues, Red and White. And it's pretty traditional, pretty standard. What it actually means is that as you continue to introduce more people, you continue to get compensated for the sales that those guys make every single year. And I love when people say, remember that listing you had last year? The thing about revenue share is that it's a recurring revenue stream that continues to build. And I kind of see it as like us getting a snowball up to the top of the hill and then just giving it a little tip over the other side, and that it will continue to sort of roll downhill. And we all are hoping that our snowball looks something like yours. Compensation is amazing. The second revenue stream, as Sheila was just telling us about, is our revenue stream. And the third way that we're compensated at eXp Realty is through equity. which is really amazing. And there's actually 5 ways that we earn equity in eXp. So anyway, 5 ways that we can earn equity. You receive $200 in stock when you close your first deal. You receive $400 in stock today when you cap. You receive another $400 in stock when the agents that you introduce to eXp Realty, when they close their first transaction. And then, as Sheila was mentioning, if you're a top producing agent, you have the opportunity, as everyone does, to cap at 16,000 and then typically have another 20 transactions in your calendar year. You will then achieve what's called icon status. And that's kind of a big deal in eXp, in the world of eXp and our brokerage. One of the many things that it does for you is that it gives you your entire cap of $16,000 back in stock. One of the caveats is, which I love, in order to earn that 16,000, part of that you have to say that you will give back to the company in some way. And that can be teaching in the world. That can be a certified mentor. There's a number of ways you can give back, but I love the fact that that's built in, that you are awarded the stock, but they'd like you to give back a little bit to the company and to pour into others. And so that's the 4th way. And then the 5th way is that we're able to purchase with up to 5% of our gross commissions at a 10% discount. And many of us elect to do that stock equity program when we first come on board. Here's the thing, for me, I've been a self-employed person almost my whole life, and I've never had the opportunity that so many others that I know have in terms of a 401k or some kind of a savings plan built in to their work. And I don't know about most of you, but I am not that disciplined realtor that gets a commission check and says, oh, I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to take 25% of that and put it aside for taxes. Then I'm going to take another 10% of that and put it in savings where I can never touch it for the next 10 years or so. I did not do that. Maybe the rest of you all did, but I kind of already spend, the minute I get a listing, I've already calculated what the commission is and what I'm going to spend it on. I haven't even sold the house yet, and I'm already kind of worried about what I'm going to do with the money. So finally, I have an opportunity here at eXp Realty to build that nest egg I never did. And that was one of the things that a half ago when Tom Truong slowed me down long enough, I realized, wow, I can finally start to build some nest egg for my family. And that was a kind of a big deal. So that's our 3rd way of compensation. We are the brokerage that actually offers healthcare. I know both Barbara and Tom are part of our healthcare and both have amazing stories. If you just want to speak quickly about that, because I think this is really important.
Yeah, when eXp was announcing that they were going to be able to provide healthcare to their agents, I was thrilled because I was on the open exchange, to try to get health insurance. I've always been, like you, Lisa, independent contractor. My husband didn't have the employee benefits because he also was an independent contractor. So I had contacted the healthcare services and kind of wanted to compare. Okay, let's compare what you're offering to what I already get, open healthcare plan through the exchange. And to my surprise, it was so much cheaper for just about the same coverage. And I'll never forget the time that I had to go to the pharmacy just to pick up it was like a simple little prescription. I don't have a lot of prescription drugs, but I had to pick up something, some kind of antibiotic or something. And it literally cost me like 70 cents. I was shocked. So that right there, for me, that made a big deal, especially with the monthly savings as well for my husband and myself.
In terms of Glenn being prescient and really, anticipating the needs of the agents, for me, this is such a tangible, we've had so much in the last few years about healthcare. No matter where you kind of are on the spectrum of, politics, this is just a huge issue in our country. And then certainly in the last 18 months with the pandemic. So the fact that we offer healthcare, amazing healthcare to the option to all of our agents, I think so much. So we're going to kind of go through the cloud-based piece relatively quickly. Again, if you are a guest tonight, please make sure you get back to whoever invited you and ask them for a passport so you can get into eXp World and you can really experience it for yourself. So here's sort of a slide about what is offered in terms of tools and systems, which are just amazing. It all starts out with our enterprise, which is kind of like our dashboard. This is a one-stop login to get to everything. You can find out where you're at, all about your transactions. This is where you also will be looking for all of your marketing materials. This is where you can invite another agent to have a passport. And very importantly is 2 things. One is our transaction management system, which is called SkySlope. And that's available on the open market. It's actually a fabulous system that allows you to create an entire transaction with checklists every time you enter any kind of a transaction. And it's, of course, completely paperless. You can access it anywhere. It really allows us busy, crazy, not detail-oriented folks to never let something fall through the cracks again. And I don't know about you, but I literally have gone to a closing and forgotten the walkthrough. Like, I mean, there's just so many things that can possibly fall between cracks that you don't realize.
Yeah, Workplace by Facebook is huge. Every single agent, and we've said it, we have over 60,000 agents in eXp, and every single one of them are within our workplace. So we can send a private message to anybody. It doesn't matter where you are, because again, we're in 14 countries. So if we wanted to talk to somebody who's in Italy or Germany that just started, we can do a little message through our platform on Workplace. This was, from what I understand, and Sheila, correct me if I'm wrong, but that this was huge for Glenn, because he thought this is going to be a great way to keep the business, the company together, because we all have access to each other. Nobody's off limits. And I love that, because we have a lot of, big coaches and trainers that I have really been able to send a personal message to, and they get right back to me. They don't know me. But everybody's so helpful. And I love this platform, because also too, there's no ads.
No politics. It's kind of like Facebook without the politics and the pets, although there is one pet group, but I won't mention that. But there's also groups about positive mindset and, every possible niche in real estate you could imagine. And also a bunch of groups about KV Core. So this is another piece of magic with eXp Realty. There is a platform called KV Core, a software service that's available on the open market as well. About $1,000 to set up and about $500 a month. People come over to eXp just to get KV Core for $85 a month. It's an amazing system. I actually have a new virtual assistant, and he is just digging into figuring out my KV Core, because there's so many leads in there, so much business I've left on the table because I don't personally have the time. It's an amazing system. And I know Tom Truong has challenged anyone to spend 30 days, 1 hour a day for 30 days. And if you don't have more leads than you know what to do with, in Workplace, there are a number of groups that are just dedicated to teaching people how to get better at KV Core, because again, we're just all about supporting each other and the collaboration. Live training. Who wants to jump in on live training?
I'll take the live training. What I love about the live training is we have hundreds of I.C.A agents, right? Hundreds. And these are agents who, they're closing the deals. They're doing the business. And it's most of these I.C.A agents, all of them are teaching these classes. So you literally are learning from the best of the best of the best. And the training schedule comes out every single Sunday. Every Sunday, you'll get an email from eXp that will tell you what the training is. You can click on a class, you can see who's teaching it, you can see what the subject matter is. They're amazing classes. If you can't attend a class, they're all recorded. Most of them are recorded. You just kind of jump into the university and be able to listen in on this. I love the training. I learned so much from it. It goes back to that collaboration.
Shameless plug. I teach a class called The Art and Science of Gratitude, and it is on the third Wednesdays at noon. I would love people to attend. I actually have them stop and do a 2-minute meditation in the middle of the training. So it is kind of unusual. They're usually very focused on production and everything that revolves around that, but I actually offer one, Art and Science of Practicing Gratitude. So and then into our support. Oh my God, this is so amazing. 11 to 12 hours a day. There are people live. And, one of the things I think that's so stunning is that they've been hired to work in a virtual environment. So there's a level of patience and gentleness and the attitude of the staff. I've yet in 18 months to meet someone that wasn't an amazing resource. The staff is just great. And here you're going to get operation services, anything to do with broker management, but also we have an amazing resource called Tech Outpost, and they will be able to help you with technology problems, computer problems, whether it's related to sales or not. They will sit there with you. You pull a little ticket, you wait, you sit down at a desk, they will sit there with you and help you solve what your problems are. So community. Tom, you want to speak to this? I know you've been involved with a number of the One eXp initiatives, and I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I mean, what's really cool about this is eXp 100% celebrates diversity. No other organization have I been involved with where we recognize where each of us come from, our backgrounds. We celebrate it. We want to celebrate diversity. You know, one brokerage under the sun. There's no, well, there are different groups like the Asian group, the Black group, the Latino, the LGBTQ, Power Girls, and so on and so forth. But really, at the end of the day, all of us come together as one company to celebrate us as human beings. And I like it. It educates our agents about how to work in different communities. There's a story I'll tell you quickly, you know, community here that is primarily Indian descent, you know, folks from the country India. And they don't understand the culture. They don't understand how to greet, how to meet people, how to interact with them. And they took a course in our cloud campus about how to work with the Indian clients. And boy, they texted me right away. He goes, "Oh my goodness, Tom, I can't believe I've never had this sort of training in my brokerage." And now they understand the culture. And that's just one example of how we celebrate diversity.
So yeah, this is another effort by the company initiative. We focus on there's things in LinkedIn and on Workplace and on this site called eXp Life that really features people from all over the world. We mentioned before about the international collaboration. This has been stunning. We have a gentleman who joined the company when I did, Michael Valdez, who was with the Realty franchise for about 17 years, I believe, that has just gone absolutely gangbusters in opening. I think we're at 19 or 20 countries now. During the pandemic, this has continued to happen. Here's I know, again, this was not updated as of yesterday. We just added Germany. So that's an amazing feat in and of itself as we continue to expand all across the world. And then there's this agent advisory council that continues to inform all of the decisions. In fact, including when we changed our branding about a year ago. The agents were the ones that were involved and developed a program that we had. So that was really amazing. And here's just a slide that shows some of the diversity in that advisory council for 2021. One of the things that eXp has also done is to create all kinds of affiliate programs with services that will help us serve our clients. And if you're so wired, you can learn about these things. You can you will get a small commission if you decide to offer any of these programs. We just had a collaboration with Kind Lending to create Success Lending. That's going to be a new product that's coming out, which is going to be amazing, that we'll also have an opportunity to be involved with as well. I love this slide, and I think it really speaks to an awful lot of what we mentioned. But one of the things that Sheila started out with tonight was that, have you ever heard anyone else talk about their brokerage in terms of it changing people's lives? And I think about this too. Has anyone ever talked about a brokerage being big enough to access all of your dreams? So there's a couple slides about, what others have said about us. And I think that the production piece is really important to continue to talk to folks about the fact that we are a sales organization, and the numbers just continue to really show that. Another slide that's really all around that. This shows kind of our growth. And that is the end of our presentation. I'd love to open up, number one, for some testimonials and also for some questions. So please feel free to raise a hand. If you've got some questions, I'd love to hear from you, or if there's some story you'd like to share with everyone.
Hey, Sheila, great job in Dallas, by the way, too. Yeah. So listen, guys, there are lots of options when you come to choosing brokerages. Okay. We just happen to be choosing this specific one, but the opportunity is right there before your fingertips, before the phones. As Sheila says, she's still making phone calls. For you social media kings and queens out there, it's so much easier. Treat this like a gift. It's not about you. It's about your kids, your future grandchildren, and your great grandchildren. Right? It's really about the future generation. Okay. This is the only platform that allows you to pass on what you've built for yourself to your ears. Okay. Along the way, you're selling a lot of real estate along the way too, because of the technology that enables us. For me personally, it's allowed me to pay for a tuition for 4 years for my daughter who just graduated from George Washington University. So it's a game changer. It's having a lot of fun doing some meetings with dynamic people and continue to meet dynamic people. Tell me one other platform that's going to give you your money back, your cap back, just by selling real estate for doing what you're doing. We have several. I think we have a couple icons on this. Lisa's the first icon in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Yeah, thank you, Dick. Anybody else, who else would like to share? Sure, Cameron.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a new agent. I used to do mortgage banking for 3 years, but now I'm moving over into the real estate market. I'm here in Miami, Florida, and there's a school called Gold Coast down here. That's where I did my training at. And I remember when we did training, they had I guess you can say like a panel towards the end of the week for their week course or monthly course that would come in to say, hey, join our brokerage. You know, they had their little platforms, and there was about 10 to 15 different companies there. My question would be, what would you say I think would be the best way of going about trying to talk to the school to try to get myself in there so I can, because there's no company, I tell you that. My mother is the reason, she's in New York City, why I joined this company. And to me, there's no better company. You know, we're second to none. Just like you said, we sold over $1 billion. Sheila said it. We sold over $1 billion more than Keller Williams. They call me every day still trying to get me to join. And there's nowhere else I want to be. So my question is, how could I go about going to the school to try to get our program or our company in that school? Because everyone deserves this, I want to help.
I'd be happy to take that if you guys want.
Sure, yeah, please, Tom.
Just quickly. Sure. So Cameron, awesome to have you on the call, man. So yeah, for everyone's benefit, just reach out to the school, because what they usually do is they allow or they market to real estate brokerages to come in and give their 10, 15, 30-minute pitch. Those companies are probably paying a marketing fee to those schools to be able to give that pitch. Okay, so why don't you and I talk offline, and I can help you position how to do that. And if you want, I can go with you on the first couple of pitches so you would know how to do it, so you can do it with grace and help those agents get the information that they really need to really survive in this business. Sheila at the beginning of the call said a lot of agents get into the business, and within a couple of years, more than 80% fail out of the business. You have the ability, Cameron, and others on this call to really help those agents achieve their goals, achieve their dreams of becoming a real estate sales professional, and hopefully create the life that they want to create. So text me tonight, text me tomorrow, and I'll hop on a call with you. And I recently brought on a couple of schools. The leaders of those schools, the owners of those schools are now eXp agents, and they're leveraging this platform to help their graduates achieve success as well. Good question.
Yeah. Also, people can find out more about Tom, where Tom's at, and his Rock the Comma tour. If you go to rockthecomma.com, you can find out upcoming events as well. You can also go to freedomforrealtors.com. That also has an events calendar on it. And David Tran, you've got your hand raised. What can we do for you?
Yeah, great presentation, everyone. I actually flew in from Asia, so Tom introduced me to this opportunity, and very, very exciting. I haven't heard of anything this exciting, so looking forward to meeting everyone. But this question is for Sheila. I know that obviously you've been in business for quite a long time with eXp, but what are some of the obstacles that you still face today, bringing on new agents, bringing on new brokers?
I can't really say I have obstacles at this point, because really eXp's dialed everything in as far as the onboarding and their systems and their support and their training. So it's super smooth now. I mean, we brought on with Brent's team yesterday a 200-person brokerage.
Wow.
And it was seamless. I can't say there are obstacles. I mean, sometimes you have little glitches and when you're filling out the join form, but all you have to do while you're doing it is just to log into the world and go into the tech department or the onboarding department and let them know you're having a glitch, and they can reset it. Other than that, that's like the worst thing that happens to us now, is a little glitch for filling out the form.
I think what David might be referring, Sheila, is to when you're sharing this program with agents and you're trying to show them the program, what are the objections that you are coming up with?
People say it's too good to be true. I hear that a lot. And I'm like, yep, you're right. It is too good to be true, but here's my revenue share. This is true. And I can show them what I'm making. Jake Kinder said that's why it took him so long to come to, that it just didn't seem like it was possible to be that good. So we do have people say that sometimes. The number one thing I look for, if I would encourage everybody, and I said this in Dallas when I spoke for the people who were there, is watch Gene Frederick's napkin presentation many, many, many times, because I think it's the most brilliant example out there of explaining the opportunity. And one of the things that Gene teaches is that people have a gate, and their gate is either open or closed. Now, their gate may be closed for lots of reasons. Maybe they have problems at home they're dealing with, so they can't think about anything else. Maybe they have a bunch of transactions that they're scared they're going to lose the money from, so they're too afraid to leave their brokerage. But really what I'm looking for is people who have a gate that's open. And so I'll use language when I'm talking to people about, are you open-minded, or are you open to the opportunity? Or if I were to show you how eXp would be able to answer all those things that you said that you were missing or looking for or needed or aren't getting from your brokerage, if I were able to show you how eXp would be able to do all those things for you, would you be willing to make a move at this time? Is there anything that would be keeping you from making a move at this time? So those are the kinds of language that I use when I'm talking to someone, because the truth is, I have a hard time saying that we're not best for everyone. I would say we're best for most people. Every now and then, I might meet somebody that we're not best for. But for the most part, the way the company structured the opportunity, when you look at it, so whether you're a new agent, a functioning agent, a producing agent, a mega team, or a brokerage, they literally have it to where eXp is best for you on every level. The only people that I've ever met that I basically say, you know, honestly, we're probably not the best fit for you, are people who are at 100% brokerage, that only sell 1 or 2 deals a year, that want to pay no fees, and don't plan on building their business. Somebody like that, honestly, if you're only selling 1 or 2 homes a year, we're probably not best for you if you have no desire to grow and are working a full-time job. We're probably not the best fit. Other than that kind of scenario, pretty much most people, we're the best fit. It's just a matter of us helping them work through the things in their mind, or their obstacles, or their struggles, or the things that they have going on that we need to help them get over the finish line to be able to make that move. So that's why I think Gene's presentation is so good, because he talks about the whole beginning of it is tell me about yourself. Mm-hmm. So I spend the whole beginning of my presentation talking about them. So tell me about that. Tell me about your systems. Tell me about your lead gen. Tell me about how you are with technology. Tell me about how you are with training. I want to know every single thing that's going on in their business, because I want to see what eXp answers for the pain points that they have. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question, David.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question for Sheila or any of us? If not, I will say thank you so much, Sheila. This has been an absolute delight. I am so excited to have been here and to learn more from you and to listen to everything today. Barbara, it's always such a pleasure to spend this hour with you. Thank you so much to my sponsor, Tom Truong, who has certainly changed my life and hopefully helped me continue to change the lives of others as we continue to introduce the program to new people and just do what we were already doing. And with that, again, if anyone else has anything else they'd like to add, I'd love to hear from folks. And if not, I will say thank you and good night.
My name is Tom Truong, and if you would like more real estate sales training tips on how to build an amazing real estate business, my contact information is in the comments below, or feel free to send me a quick text a voicemail or drop me an email, and I'd be happy to personally get back with you. Please also feel free to comment, share, and like these posts.